I don't like where this is going. Stop! Stop! No, 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 no. Please, Larry, you don't understand. You don't know what you're doing here.
Have you ever wanted to watch your favorite franchise to be sodomized and remade constantly with a bunch of shitty retcons? Well, I've got news for you. Welcome to the Halo community, and that's exactly what 343 does. So, reports are that they're planning on remaking the original trilogy of Halo games, and maybe even beyond that, remaking ODST and Reach. My question is, why can't they make something new? And you and I, the viewer, we both know why they can't make something new, right? Because they're creatively bankrupt, right? They're creatively bankrupt and they can't come up with anything new that's worth a shit, right? The entire studio is trash. 343 Halo Studios literally just needs to be wiped completely clean. They need to get rid of everybody. Like, it's that bad. There is no redemption for this studio. Every single Halo game this studio has put out has been total trash. Literally just an abomination, a blight on the Halo franchise. It is that bad. Every single Halo game they've come out with, one, retcons the previous game's lore, and changes up the art style in some other ways to where they're like, oh, the original art style wasn't good enough, we need to put in our own, unique kind of thing. There's a thing called pattern recognition, right? And I know I'm diving into dangerous territories here, but if you go to, let's say you go to a gas station, right? And every single time you go to that gas station, you get robbed. You would think after a while, probably after the second time you getting robbed, you're like, this place seems to have a proclivity of, armed robberies. And, my possessions being relinquished from me, so I should probably not come here anymore, right? Well, unfortunately, a lot of the modern Halo fan base that came in during the 343 era, and, they enjoy their games, is unable to recognize the stark contrast between the Bungie games and the 343 ones, and how they're just completely two separate things. One is completely opposite to the other. And one is actually fun and comes up with the unique sandboxes with unique scenarios for the player to enjoy. And the other one is, I don't know, just freaking slop. Like, they can't, these people literally can't do anything right. They fuck up everything with Halo. The analogy with the gas station here is, after Halo 4, it's like, okay, that was a bit of a rocky start. Alright, well, maybe they'll take some feedback and get Halo 5 right. Halo 5 comes out, and it's utter dog shit. Probably the worst Halo game ever made. And most fans of Halo, the real Halo fans, by the way, the ones who grew up with the Bungie games, recognize, alright, these people clearly cannot handle the IP, and that's pretty much it, dude. Like, just, close the curtains here, like, let's wrap this up, because it ain't getting any better, right? And the cycle is, the new game comes out, the new Halo game comes out, everybody gets hyped up for it. They're like, oh, we've changed, oh, I'm better now. And it turns out nothing has changed, and the game's a giant nothing burger. Halo Infinite was a giant nothing burger. Nothing happens in the game. Same thing happens with Halo 4, Halo 5. Like, realistically, nothing happens within any of those stories that really changes anything, because in the next game it all just gets retconned. Or, changed or forgotten about. They can't do writing for the life of themselves. I don't know what freaking writers they're hiring there, but you could probably get better fucking writers off of, like, fanfiction.com or something. I don't know. Like, go hire freaking modders to, like, go write the stories. The Halo modders on the Steam Workshop would do a better job at writing the stories than these freaking hacks would. Like, I'm tired of it, bro. Like, I have severe 343 fatigue. These people need to be stopped. They should not be allowed to bastardize the original Bungie games that were masterpieces. Imagine I come up to you and I'm like, hey, the Mona Lisa, how it's a really beautiful painting? Well, let me do my own version of it. I think I could do better, right? It's a complete disservice to the original artist and that original art piece. There's no way you're going to be able to live up to what it is, so why even try doing something new with it? And going back to my original point here is the fact that they're creatively bankrupt and they can't come up with anything new, because everything new they come up with is dog shit and everybody hates it. And so the next thing they come out with is, oh, we changed everything again and everybody still hates it. So all we can do is just do shitty remakes of the original, add in Sprint, and try to appeal to a wider audience. So, and when you do a wider audience, right? When you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to nobody. Like, these people, 343 has completely alienated the original player base. They're not making it for the original Halo fans, and that's, if you have an IP, right? An IP is going to have its hardcore fans, right? Its set audience that it's appealing to, right? Not everyone's going to want to buy a Resident Evil game. Not everyone's into survival horror, right? But there's particular things within that game that make it special as to where it appeals to a certain audience, right? And when you take Halo and you start changing the original formula here, it no longer appeals to the original audience. Not to mention that, but when you also go and you can't write a story for the life of you, and then you add in like new gameplay mechanics that go completely opposite to what was in the original trilogy. Like, Halo is a slower paced shooter. You have a higher time to kill, and your movement speed isn't nearly as fast as something like Call of Duty, where you're sprinting around and doing, wall, whatever, like slide cancels and other crazy shit, right? It's completely different from that, and that's what made it unique, right? That's what set Halo apart back in the early 2000s. Was it wasn't Call of Duty, it was its own thing, right? And when you start injecting all those elements of Call of Duty and all the other movement shooters into there, it's no longer Halo. It's no longer Halo, and you're gonna lose that core audience, which they have. They've lost that core audience. I don't know a single other Halo fan, at least like the ones who enjoy the Bungie games and realize what 343's Halo games were. They're dog shit. Let's be real here. And that there's no optimism in anything they're gonna do, because we've seen their work, right? You can only do a shitty job so many times before everybody writes you off. I've never seen another gaming community be so quick to forgive developers that literally just can't hold it together. They just can't do the job. They're like, oh, hey, you know what? Oh, they're going to do the next one good. It's like, no, dude, do you not recognize the pattern here? Like, they just can't do it, bro. Just give up. Just let it rest, right? And so this is my appeal here, right? We don't need any more Halo remakes. There should not be any more Halo remakes. Halo 2 Anniversary is fine. It looks good, right? It plays like the original. Nothing was really changed with that, besides they, put in those shitty lock cutscenes or whatever, where he's talking to the Arbiter, and everyone just ignores that anyway and just skips past it. No one cares about that, right? That's fine. Halo 3 still looks good. What do you think you could possibly add into Halo 3 and Halo 2 to make it any better than it already is? Besides, maybe Halo 2, you rebalance some of the difficulty with it with the AI, because the brutes were spongy, but that's realistically it. And even then, you can just download a mod off the workshop for Halo 2 that does that rebalance. And same thing goes for Halo 3, like Ruby's rebalance for I think he did Halo 1, 2, and 3. He had a bunch of rebalances or whatever, right? But there's nothing here that you can't get on the workshop, right? So realistically, what do any of these remakes have to offer the core Halo audience? Nothing. There's literally nothing to offer any of them. We've played the originals, we grew up with them, and we come to love them. And all you're gonna do is just take a shit all over those games by remaking them, because you can't do the job right making new ones. So do you think you're going to do a good job remaking games that were far superior than whatever your studio has come out with? The answer is no. You and I both know that. And I'm not afraid to call this out, right? The bigger Halo YouTube channels will always be in the pockets of freaking Halo Studios or 343 or whatever. There's always going to be an incentive for them to go and be positive and to not call out what 343 does and what they actually are. They're creatively bankrupt hacks who can't make Halo games, and whatever they put out, the Halo modding community could do 30 times better, and they're not even paid. Just look, just stop making Halo games. Just give it up. The franchise is dead. Just let it rest, please. You don't have to desecrate the grave of one of gaming's most iconic IPs. You can just let it rest. You can just let it go and leave it as it is rather than taint it even further. Look, I know I'm screaming at the clouds here, and I know they're clearly not going to stop, but I imagine myself and a lot of other people probably feel the same way. So, but yeah. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. It was a bit ranty. They're going to do remakes, and they're going to be awful, and, you know, rinse and repeat. In the next 20 years, they're just going to do Halo remakes, and they'll be like, oh, hey, actually, we're going to be remaking Halo 4 and 5 and Infinite now, too. They're just going to continue to remake everything, so nothing's going to change. But anyways, that's the actual end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. You know, leave a comment down below, do the likes, do the stuff the algorithm likes, and I'll catch you on the next video.